All right, folks, in this video I have 4 segments, so this is how I broke it up. So the market freeze, pre-construction, condo, and why that is extremely dangerous in today's actual market and activities. Then I have a story that I would like to share with you. A person trying to buy a truck, like a work truck, and the AI threat, like I'm gonna call it like that, and how everything is actually developing as we're speaking, kind of in the background, right? And it feels like, you know, like a sitting duck on water, right? Like you see a duck and it looks perfectly calm. However, underneath the water, there's all that action that is happening. So when it comes to the actual market freeze, most of you in construction are feeling this, right? And that's like, you know, your boss or your employer or the company, the construction company is telling you how there are no new projects coming up and stuff like that, right? So there's less and less of these projects that are available and whatnot, right? So to be exact, it's hard to be exact at this point, but 1 in 5 construction companies cannot afford to actually keep their people, right? Like, and it's very, very, very scary, right? Like, think about that for a second, right? So it is extremely scary to know that there's no future jobs, and those are all skilled workers. You know, some get paid, you know, $30 an hour, some get paid, you know, $60 an hour, right? Or $100 an hour, or whatever the case is. But that bread is off the table, right? So now let's get into some data. So the articles are saying here that, you know, 536,000 jobs are tied to new construction in Canada, right? So based on this figure, that's more than 500,000 people in Canada. That's huge, right? And we know the risk of unemployment rising. I mean, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be insane based on what we went through already, right? Like, we went through a chaos, right? And then we obviously printed more money. Then we kind of tried to get out of it just by not looking at it. And now the consequences are around the corner. But having said that, looking into it further, up to 170,000 jobs are at risk of disappearing altogether, right? So then you might ask, what kind of jobs, right? Like, and towards the end of this video, I'll get into the AI and whatnot, right? But, you know, some of the white collar even jobs, you know, people say like, you know, like I went to school, you know, I know how to sketch, I know how to draw a condominium lobby, you know, in a software. Well, you know, AI can do this in 30 seconds, right? Like, and it can suit your style or your vision. Like, you want it more rusty, you want it more modern, right? Like, you know what I mean? And some of these softwares and programs are extremely on point and very, very, very scary, right? So some of those jobs are going to be completely obsolete, right? Completely, right? So pre-construction crisis, we know that pre-construction is in total danger. I have been whistling for a long time, right? Like, you know, if you're a part of this community and the channel, you know, you heard me talk about it way before most of people did. Some people did it, you know, like we were trying to kind of expose the danger of it, right? But it is what it is. Now we know that these sales are absolutely catastrophic, right? Like, all these sales offices, and I had a chance to walk in some of the sales offices, and it's sad, right? Because the people that are employed in some of these offices have no clue what they're even talking about. Like, you know what I mean? It could be even minimum wage. Like, I don't even know, right? Because the entire segment is falling and suffering, and there goes the quality, right? But the most important equation of that is there's really no buyers, right? And you cannot really You cannot really force somebody to buy if numbers don't make any sense. And these developers, they have been trying, and they have been trying to give more and a better deal and this and that and the other, but you know what, there's no more ammunition. People are done. There's no more money in the market. Will there ever be money? Probably. Is there money now? Probably. But if it doesn't make any sense, people will not buy it, right? So there's a story I want to tie in, how everything can change, right? When it comes to the pre-construction, in my opinion. And what do I mean by that? So people need the change in order to look at the pre-construction or a condo in general, something that makes sense to them. So what do I mean by that? Well, they have to stop building these shoe boxes, period, right? Because that's investor geared and investors are gone. So that segment is off the table altogether. That's why everything is falling. Now, the price always matters, but the size matters too, right? I don't care what you say, but people have to feel comfortable living in a space, right? Especially for the dollar amount that they're paying. So that is off the table as well, right? So there's really no buyers, right? So like back in the day, in the late 1800s, I'll tell you a quick story. In New York, right? Like they had horses and carriages and everything like that, right? And the mayor at the time, like he didn't like that, these carriages and these horses and the horses were dumping on all the stuff on the street, right? And he was saying like, well, I don't really like it, right? So what can they do? So instead of you having, 2 horses per family, you can only have 1 horse. So they tried it. Like that, but unfortunately it didn't work because the mess was still on the street. So then they said, okay, so then if you wanted to own a horse, we're going to tax you more. It's just very simple. That's how we're going to do it. So that didn't work either because people were paying for it. So how did they actually solve this equation with the mess on the street? Well, in the early 1900s, cars started rolling out. That changed everything, right? So we're, I believe, in the same problem at the intersection where we're trying to clear that dump on the street and we don't know how, right? And everyone is trying to push and kick the can, and they're trying to compress with the higher taxes, with everything possible in order to save basically a falling market, right? And they're hoping somehow that it will happen. Well, it will not happen, right? And when we get to the AI sector is actually very crazy. So now let's get into the segment 3, which is the truck story. So I was in contact with someone that deals with trucks. They sell trucks for different trades and whatnot, right? So these are these minivans or pickups or whatever, right? And I asked him, how's it going, right? And he's like, well, you know what, people are buying, some people are buying, but it's very difficult, like getting the financing and whatnot. And he was on a call with a gentleman and he said like, that truck brand new is like maybe 80, 90 grand. I have it used for 20 grand with safety and everything like that, right? And the guy's like, I can't, I just can't. And he's like, well, what do you want? I mean, you're buying a used truck, like it's 80, 90, it's basically $70,000 off, right? You can still use it for the purpose that you need in your business. You'll be happy, it's 20 grand. And the guy's like, look, it's not that. You're being generous, like everything makes sense, the numbers make sense. I just cannot afford it. Even payment on $20,000 on a truck, like he cannot afford it. And the reason was that his mortgage literally doubled, taxes went up, insurance went up, right? Like comment below if your insurance went up, mine went up. right? Like, and all the insurances, it's not only car insurance, everything you own, everything went up, right? So the man said, like, look, I need the truck, I just cannot afford it, right? And there's nothing cheaper I can buy that it can serve me. So that's that in between segment that the guy's like even saying, like, look, like I don't even know what to do. And then I need the truck to get to a job site. Like, I cannot carry all this stuff with me, right? But I'm not even sure if I will have a job in 6 months. Like what if I'm slow? That I'm stuck with another payment, even if you could approve me somehow, right? So it just doesn't make any sense. And now he's saying, like, look, I will need to sell my house. I will need to kind of restructure my life in order to move forward, right? So those are the things that we're actually going through. Some will go through this, they will hit this wall quicker. Some it takes a little bit longer. You know, everybody is different. You know, like we all can have the same ride, but the experience will be different, right? Or the budget or savings or whatever, right? So, but I think everything is kind of coming together slowly, but the impact is enormous, huge. So now when we get into the whole, just let me pull it up here, whole AI issue here. So check this out. According to the World Economics Forum 2025 Future of Job Report, 41% of employers worldwide plan to reduce their workforce in the next 5 years, not because of performance, but because of AI and automation. Think about this for a second. World Forum is saying that, you know, everyone is literally chasing this AI because it's flawless 24/7 and it's cheaper and it's going to replace you. So what does this look like? So that translates to 941 people losing their jobs every single day, every day. So every day when you wake up, nearly 500 people will be out of a job, whether you like it or not. But are you one of these people or not, right? Or when will you be that next person, right? So I think we're there already, right? And that's why I believe that there will be a massive problem when it comes to real estate, when it comes to ownership, when it comes to keep up, just period, like just keeping up afloat with all these bills and monthly and all of that stuff. So there's really no advices here, because you have to look yourself in the eyes first, right? But I think the most logical thing to do is to actually calculate your earnings and try to steer the ship in the right direction so you could stay afloat. For how long? You might have to be afloat for another 5 years or 10 years, or maybe your whole life you will fight with these adjustments. But it is what it is. So I truly hope that you gain some value out of this video, and I'll see you in the next one.